Good morning, students. Welcome to my online class English The Story of an Invitation. In the previous video, I read and explained the textbook page number 41. In today's video, I will read and explain the following page. Have some chocolates, Grace, said Bertha gaily. I got such good news in my letter tonight that I felt I must celebrate it fittingly. So I went into Carter's and invested all my spare cash in caramels. It's really fortunate the term is almost out, for I am nearly bankrupt. I have just enough left to furnish a tuck-out for commencement night and no more. What is your good news, may I ask? Said Grace. You know, I have an Aunt Margaret, commonly called Aunt Meg, out at Riversdale. Don't you? There never was such a dear, sweet, jolly aunt in the world. I had a letter from her tonight. Listen, I will read you what she says. I want you to spend your holidays with me, my dear. Mary Fairweather and Lucy Fish and Lily Dennis are coming too. So there is just room for one more, and that one must be yourself. Come to Riversdale when school closes, and I will feed you on strawberries and cream and pound cake and donuts and mince pies and all the delicious indigestible things that schoolgirls love and careful mothers condemn. Mary and Lou and Lil are girls after your own heart. I know, and you shall all do just as you like, and we will have picnics and parties and merry doings galore. There, said Bertha, looking up with a laugh. Isn't that lovely? How delightful it must be to have friends like that to love you and plan for you, said Grace wistfully. I am sure you will have a pleasant vacation, Bertie. As for me, I am going into Clarkman's bookstore until school reopens. I saw Mr. Clarkman today and he agreed to take me. Bertha looked surprised. She had not known what Grace's vacation plans were. I don't think you ought to do that, Grace, she said thoughtfully. You are not strong and you need a good rest. It will be awfully trying to work at Clarkman's all summer. There is nothing else for me to do, said Grace, trying to speak cheerfully. You know, I am as poor as the proverbial church mouse, Betty, and the simple truth is that I can't afford to pay my board all summer and get my winter outfit unless I do something to earn it. I shall be too busy to be lonesome, and I shall expect long newsy letters from you, telling me all your fun, passing your vacation on to me at second hand, you see. Well, I must set to work at those algebra problems. I tried them before dark, but I couldn't solve them. My head ached and I felt so stupid. How glad I shall be when exams are over. I suppose I must revise that senior English this evening, said Bertha absently. But she made no more, no move to do so. She was studying her friend's face. How very pale and thin Grace looked. Surely much paler and thinner than when she had come to the academy, and she had not by any means been plump and rosy then. I believe she could not stand 2 months at Clarkman's, thought Bertha. If I were not going to Aunt Meg's, I would ask her to go home with me. Or even if Aunt Meg had room for another guest, I'd just write her all about Grace and ask if I could bring her with me. Aunt Meg would understand. She always understands, but she hasn't, so it can't be. Just then, a thought darted into Bertha's brain. Let me explain them in detail. Bertha went out and invested all her spare cash in purchasing sweets, chocolates, etc., and offered them to Grace. She said to her that she got such a good news in her letter. When Grace asked about the good news, she shared with her friend all that were in the letter. Bertha was invited by her lovely and jolly aunt Meg to her home during vacation. She was living in Riversdale, a town in South Africa. She also mentioned that her three cousins were also coming. Aunt Meg said that she would feed her on strawberries and all other eatables, whatever she liked, and also had picnics and parties, etc. Grace expressed her happiness and joy and congratulated Bertha for her holiday trip. But Grace was going into Clarkman's bookstore until the school reopens. Since she was a poor and an orphan, the Clarkman agreed to give her the work in the bookstore. Bertha was very much disappointed. Grace was too weak to work in the bookstore. It was summer, very horrible. She should earn some money in order to meet her needs after the school reopens. Grace was being tried to speak cheerfully with Bertha. Both started preparations for their exams, but Bertha was studying her friend's face. Grace looked very pale and thin. Bertha thought that if she was not going to Aunt Meg, she would have asked Grace to come to home. Or even if Aunt Meg had room for another guest, she could take her to the aunt's home. While she was thinking about her, suddenly she got a plan to stop Grace working in the store. Thank you.